Welcome to the Sun today for the 17th of February 2025. Quick summary of what's going on. Solar activity is generally increasing. The sunspot number is now up to 190, as you can see from the plot on the right hand side of this, which is from the Solar Influences Data Center in Belgium. We have 2 new numbered sunspot regions. Flare activity is also up. We had 16 C flares, 1 M flare, but surprisingly only 5 coronal mass ejections. The solar wind speed seems to be dropping steadily as that coronal hole sets over the west limb. The magnetosphere, as a consequence, is less active than it has been over the last few days. Let's have a look at the sunspots in detail. We have 13 regions on the disk. As I said, 2 of them are new. That's 3998 and 3999. There are also 2 small ones that are not yet numbered and may never be. One is just near the east limb and one is just west of sun center, and they're marked with question marks. The area of the sunspots have continued to increase. We're now up to nearly 1500 millionths of the area of the sun. We are losing 2 regions over the limb tomorrow. That's 3987 and 3995. Well, what's going on in geospace? The KP index, a measure of how active the magnetosphere is varying between 2 and 4. That's lower than it has been. The solar wind speed has dropped from 650 to about 450 kilometers per second. And the ion temperature of the solar wind has dropped from 300,000 degrees down to about 50,000 degrees. As a result of all of this, the magnetosphere is less active as this coronal hole, as you can see in the bottom right, is just setting over the west limb. You can also see the small coronal hole near the polar region in the north, and there's even a hint of one in the south, which means we may be at the stage where the solar magnetic field has reversed. Because of the lower solar wind, the magnetosphere, as shown on the right here, is less active than it has been of late. As you can see from the GOES X-ray plot, we've had a lot of small flares in the last 24 hours, and including 1 M flare, unfortunately no X's. The X-ray background is at 1.2 sea level. As I said, we had 1 M flare, that was at 1510 UT, and that was from region 3997. Now I note that NOAA says it's from 3992, but I see very little evidence of that. I have put together a short movie of the M flare. It's a 3-hour movie taken in the Solar Dynamics Observatory AIA 93 angstrom channel, which is about 6 million degrees. I'm going to show you those from the Soho-Lascaux coronagraph C2 and C3. Well, let's take another stab at tomorrow's forecast. I imagine the sunspot number will remain stable with the 2 new regions adding to the numbers while we're losing 2 regions over the west limb. Flare activity seems to be increasing, and I suspect it may well continue to do so. The solar wind will moderate further, and so I don't expect any geomagnetic storms in the next 24 hours. We can look even further into the future using helioseismology, which allows us to image the far side of the sun. This image below, the grey area, is a magnetogram of the surface of the sun facing the Earth. So that's what we're seeing currently. The golden area, either side of it, is the image of the far side of the sun. And each one of these boxes is approximately 5 days. So you can see there's not much expected to return in the next couple of days. But then in the south there are going to be 3 relatively small regions and possibly 1 in the north. And in about 10 days' time, we should start seeing a very large region in the northern hemisphere. Once again, thank you for listening. If you enjoy these videos, please pass them on to friends or neighbors or relations who you think might benefit from understanding more about how the sun works. And so until next time, stay safe and goodbye.